Hey,
Let's do this.
I'm so excited. All right. Now, only talk when you're spoken to. Um, Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Amorino. I am an educator and a brand rep for Behave. So I do sales and education for the brand Behave. I'm really excited to come to you tonight with this braided balayage technique. You may already know me and have maybe seen me do this technique before. For many people, I'm sure you don't know who I am, and that's fine. And you might not have heard of Behave, and that's okay too, because you are now. It's an Australian brand. It's incredible. I'm going to be telling you a little bit about it. And we're also going to be doing a giveaway, which is really exciting. So look out for that giveaway post because we're going to be giving away some of our top 10 products for you to try, which is going to be incredible. So this is my mannequin for tonight. And again, we're doing the braided balayage technique. One of my eyebrow hairs is driving me nuts. Um, I'm going to be doing it almost as a reverse balayage. So if you look, she's already highlighted. She's already got some kind of money piece happening. I dug her out of a closet. So we're going to be doing it as a reverse balayage, but the pattern, the products, everything that I'm going to do now, I could do on virgin hair or anything like that. So it's going to be really fun. This technique saves a crap ton of time. I don't know how many of you have done balayages? Probably everybody, right? Because it's been around for a hot minute. But if you want to let me know in the comments how long it takes you normally to do a balayage, that would be great. I will tell you how long it takes me. It can take me anywhere from 3 to 4 hours for a full-headed balayage, especially on a little bit longer or denser hair. So again, in the comments, let me know how long it takes you to typically do a balayage. So for the braided balayage, I'm going to section her out first. I'm going to section her money piece sections out of the way and then start my application. So the money piece section is the front from the ear all the way to the top middle of the head. So I'm literally going to take that diagonal forward section and I'll come closer to the camera. So from that center part all the way to behind the ear, and that's going to be my money piece section. And as you can see, she's got some blonde already in there. I'm not trying to melt it off. That's not the goal, right? So if you're doing this and she already has previous blonde, keep that in mind and, keep that in mind when you're formulating because we want to keep the hair healthy and on the head. So I'm going to just section that out on both sides. And again, those are going to be my money piece sections. And I'm not going to really touch them yet. If this was a live person, I might tell her to close her eyes so I'm not clipping her eyeball. This girl can't complain. She's mute, so I'm okay. Okay, so that's out of the way. I'm going to be using two products today. That's it for this whole technique. I've got my lightener, which is from Behave. It's called Lift and Load, and I'm using the light blonde. I've already mixed it up and it's been sitting a little, so it's eaten away at some of its pigment. But if you can see, it's kind of toothpaste colored. This is the light blonde lift and load. So this has uh, a cool pigment, but it's very pastel in it to tone the hair as it lifts. So this is going to deposit some pigment in the hair as it's lifting. Depending on what developer you use and what shade you use, you can get a lot of deposit out of these tones. So it is a cream lightener that also deposits pigment, which is incredible because it's doing two things at one time. We have a copper, we have flame, we have red, we have violet, uh, slate, which is like a blue gray, light brown, light blonde, ash blonde, lots of options. And then the other tone I'm using is our level 5 stroke 7-3. So us is 7 is brunette, 3 is gold. So it's a really nice warm golden brunette. Our color is a 10 to 20 minute color line, meaning that everything standard is 10 minutes. If you're using it for gray coverage, 20. If it sits on longer than that, it will be active for another 10 minutes. So it'll be active for 30 on the hair. In that last 10 minutes, you can get up to another level of deposit. I'm using that on purpose today. So I'm using a 5, but I want her roots to look like a 4. So she's going to have like a shadow root of a 4, and then the brunette on the mids and ends is going to be more of a 5. And then I'm going to highlight 2. So the first thing I'm going to do is put that root color on, and we're going to do it in a quad section. Now, if she didn't already have blonde in the front, I might do my money pieces first because, I want them to be bright. So leaving them on longer or giving it the opportunity to be on the longest might be what I'm looking for in terms of lift. She's already got blonde in her hair up there, so I don't want to put those in before I start applying my root color. So step 1, section your money pieces out of the way. I do that so I don't accidentally paint them with color because I'm ADD AF and I will paint the whole head and I don't want that. So I'm going to do quad sections, but I'm going to start from the top down. A color brush would be helpful. Okay. And my friend Jeanette is helping me today. So if you hear another voice from God, it's Jeanette, also known as Nettie, and she is going to be kind of assisting me and reading any questions that y'all pop into the comments. So feel free to ask any questions that you have. She's going to read them to me so that I can address them. I will also go through after and answer any questions. If you are watching this as a recording, comment questions and I will get back to you. So, do we have any questions yet, Nettie?
No questions yet.
Okay. All right. So, if you have done a braided balayage, I want you to do hashtag I have in the chat. So, if you've done a balayage, comment hashtag I have, or you can just comment I have. If you haven't done a braided balayage, I want you to comment not yet. So again, if you've done one, I want you to say I have. And if you haven't, not yet. And the reason why I'm saying not yet is because now that you'll know this technique, you'll be able to. Right. So I'm painting the regrowth on, and I'm gonna still talk, but try and actually move my hands. If you're ADD at all like me, you know that the more you talk, the less you move sometimes. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick up my sections, flip it over, and then the beautiful thing about Behave 360 color, which is what I'm using, is that it is a hybrid color. So this color line is a permanent, a demi-permanent, and a toner all in one. Man down. That's why I have more than one brush. So again, it's a hybrid color, permanent, demi-permanent, toner all in one. So to make it one or the other, you change your developer choice and your mixing ratio. So I decided to do a deposit only demi because I'm not covering gray. I'm not trying to lift. I'm just depositing. So I mixed 1 to 2 with 5 volume, and that's going to make it our deposit only demi or our toner formulation. If I was covering gray, I would do 1 to 1. And again, it's 10 to 20 minutes for the processing time. If it's going to be on longer than that, you're going to get anywhere from a half level to another level of deposit. I'm using that to my advantage. I want these roots to be darker, so I'm going to leave it on longer. And I'm starting at the top and moving my way down for this because then you don't have to use clips and it doesn't take as long, right? So if you've never started at the top, because, in beauty school, they kind of drill things into your brain. I'm literally just taking slices, lifting it up. I like to paint both sides. And I'm bringing it down about an inch to an inch and a half, um, kind of feathering it down because part of this section is going to be all dark. This is all going to be low lighted. And then other parts of this is going to be our highlight. And we're going to lighten a little bit more. This technique is really cool. When I first heard about it, I was like, we're going to be painting braids. That's going to be a fiasco. They're going to have polka dot hair, which, if that's what somebody's looking for, amazing. But it's not, we're not painting a braid in this. The braids are how we separate the sections. So the braids will go in and then they will come out, which is a relief. If you hear any nonsense in the background, my cats are playing right now because why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they sleep all day until I went live? Jan- Nettie has met my cats. They are the cutest. You can say how cute they are,
They are
Nettie.
so cute. I wasn't sure.
You,
He does have the
you have
cutest cat.
permission to compliment the cats always. Okay, so I just did the back two quadrants, and now I'm going to do the front. And again, I'm going to try and keep this off my money piece section for now. And I'm going to keep in mind where that money piece section is. It's clipped out of the way. So I'm going to keep that in mind. So the front, when you're painting it, doesn't take nearly as long because it's a much smaller section than you might be used to. Any questions, any comments, any concerns?
We just have two not yets for doing the reverse braided balayage.
We love that. So I'm excited for you to learn this so that you can be and I have, because it's a really great technique. So again, I'm coming in, painting the base, those roots with my 360 color, my hybrid color, one tube, three things. Hell yes. Which means it takes up a lot less inventory. They're also honkin' tubes. They're 100 milliliter, which is around 3.5 ounces, which is great. Um, it is ammoniated. So you get great lift if you're looking for lift. I did paint part of this because I'm cute, but that's okay because I'm going to put lighter right over it. All right, all my quadrants are done. Of course, she's yowling. Um, hopefully you can't hear the cats meowing in the background, but if you can, no big deal. So I'm going to pull that hair away from the face, and now I'm going to put my money piece in. I do my money pieces in a pretty distinct pattern. So if you've seen any of my classes, you will recognize this pattern. If you have not, you might love it. So pay attention. I start on the outside in front of the ear first, and then work my way up, simply because gravity makes that easier. Our clients can move their heads, so ask her to move her head. Don't defy gravity. I don't like when it's like, why? Why do we do that? Why?
We have John asking, why do you leave the very front money piece out?
So, fantastic question. I personally leave the front money piece out because I will forget that it's supposed to be there and I will paint all of it. So that was a wonderful question. If you're not ADD and you won't forget to leave that out when you go to put your money pieces in, then go for it. You don't have to section it separately. I did make a mistake and did start painting it, even though I did section it out. So by sectioning it out of the way, it makes it just a little bit easier for my brain. I'm going to take a slice right in front of the ear, so right at that front hairline. Depending on their hair and what they have and what they don't have, because people have baby hairs and all kinds of shit going on in the front. You're going to, you know, use your judgment. If you've got four hairs that are this long that you just sliced, you're going to have to take deeper or do something a little different. So I'm going to take that front slice right at the front hairline and I'm going to do a weave. And I'm going to highlight the weave. So it's a weave first. And then Nettie, can you see what I'm doing well enough?
Yeah.
Okay, fabulous. And then I'm taking my 180 lift and load. And again, like you can see that the tonality of this is so slight when you're using the light blonde. It's not a psychotic pigment. I'm also using 25 volume, so I get some decent lift out of it. If I wanted more tonal deposit, I would use a lower developer. So if I did this with 15, I'm going to see more of the pigment from the tube. But I'm going to try and get it. So the pigments are in capsules. So do you see that blue burst? That is actually the pigment. So you want to I keep my whisk handy and just kind of continuously stir throughout because that's going to release some more pigment capsules and make sure that you don't get any little starbursts in the hair. If you're painting the hair and you see that on the hair, make sure that you wipe through with your brush or you will have that on the hair. I'm wearing an apron because I'm a toddler. So you're going to see me wipe my hands on my apron a lot, like I'm a 3-year-old in art class. Okay, so first foil is a weave. Then I'm going to do a slice right behind it. So right behind that weave is a slice. And again, this is my money piece sectioning. I like a bold money piece. I like them to not complain that it's dark in the front or that they can't see it and all that stuff. By doing the weave first, you get a nice blend so that when she puts her hair back or up, she's not, a solid line of blonde. But then doing the slices right behind it really gives you a nice pop, especially when it's curled. Um, on the sides, I'm just going to do a weave, a slice, and then a teasy light. So I'm going to take the rest of the hair and I'm going to tease it. And then I'm going to put a foil in. If you haven't done many teasy lights, once you tease, this isn't the 80s. Don't tease it like you're going to prom. None of that, right? So you're going to push it. If it gets stuck, take the comb out, put it back in, push it more, and it will glide right up there. And then I'm just going to comb it out of my foil because I don't want to paint the tease with the lightener or I'm going to have some spottiness. And you can paint right up to the edge if you want. You can stay a little further away, whatever makes you happy and feel safe and supported. I'm going to fold her up. And then I'm going to paint my tees with my dark color. I'm just going to pat that in on that teased hair because I want that depth in there. If I wanted a really, really soft transition and I liked this color that was in her hair, I could leave that out. That's not my goal for today. It's kind of awful. If you've never painted your tees before, don't be terrified. As long as you are patting it in and you're not going into your foil, you're fine. So now I'm coming up to the top center. So I did the outside. Now I'm doing the inside. This is what takes the longest in this technique is the money piece. So I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to add a slice. So the first one is a weave or a slice, y'all. In the comments, let me know if the first one against the hairline is a weave or if it's a slice. I'm going to start doing it, but you've already commented. If you said weave, you are correct. So I'm going to weave that. I'm going to paint my foil. Again, I am using light blonde lift and load, which is part of our color line, but it lifts up to 7 levels and deposits pigment. The more lift you get, the less deposit you'll get from your pigment. You're kind of trading one for the other, and the speed too. So if you're using a really high developer, you're going to lose some pigment as well because it's going to cannibalize it. Okay, then I'm going to do a slice. Any questions, Nettie?
Not yet.
Fabulous. Have you had a chance to do it yet since you took the class?
Not since I've taken the class, but I've t done it prior
All
in the
right.
past with Behave, and I loved it.
Fabulous. Yeah, so Nettie uses our color as well. Because it's the best. We also make, of course, a regular lightener. We have something called the dual lightening system. So if you needed as much lift as humanly possible, you could use that. And that's when you use the 180 lift and load and the powder lightener together. And it lifts up to 10 levels in a foil. Of course, when we say up to 10 levels, that's, virgin hair, but it does give you more lift on previously colored hair than lightener alone would. It's really incredible. I'm a big fan of it. I use it all the time. It's my favorite. And I especially use it before a vivid because it really helps me clean out the palette and pre-tone the hair, depending on which 180 I use, so that I can just, put my vivid on there. And we do have a vivid line as well, which is also stunning. All right, so I did weave, slice, slice again, and now comes the teasy light. I'm gonna just tease that down, foil it, and then I'm going to paint my tease with my deeper color. Painting this on. I don't like to spaghetti the hair. What I mean by that is like, when you're at a restaurant and you twirl your pasta, drives me bananas because it creates a lot of tangles and knots. So if you see, I tend to fold as much as I can. Sometimes the hair just works its way in there. And then if I need to spread it out, I'll spread it side to side. But I don't like twisting it because then you get a huge knot. And I'm already teasing the hair. I don't need it to be even more difficult. If you tease correctly, it won't be as difficult to get out, which is key. The other thing that's fantastic about our color, the reason why it's so fast first is the micropigments in it. So it's not that it's more aggressive or anything like that. It's actually super gentle and very, very conditioning. But because it has micropigments, um, while the hair is opening, so while that hair shaft is opening, while the cuticle is opening, the color molecules are already penetrating versus having to wait for it to fully expand. So it cuts a huge time chunk off of your processing time. Um, the other thing that's incredible about it is the prophyte keratin complex that's in there, which is a plant-based keratin complex. It's 18 amino acids, 18, 1-8. They're the 18 amino acids that make up hair. So if you've heard of anything else with the number 18 that uses amino acids, it's the same 18 amino acids that make up hair. So that is built into our color. So already our color is stupidly conditioning and insanely shiny. Again, clients can tilt their heads, have them tilt their heads so that you have like a more stable surface to paint on. And I'm going to weave. And then the fun part really starts. Not the money pieces aren't fun, If you don't do them, people don't want to pay, which is why they're money pieces. But she won't give you any money without them. So weave, slice on the side. On the sides, it's just one slice. And then after that slice is the teasy light. So that whole section of hair that I sectioned out of my way is all getting foiled. So I know it looked kind of thick, and it was a little thick, um, but that was on purpose. Oh, and then teasy light. And then am I gonna paint my tees with my dark color, or am I gonna leave it alone?
Don is asking why you don't foil the hairline compared to foiling the piece behind.
Oh, okay. I get it. So when I do my weave, why am I foiling the back part of the weave versus the part that's going down into her face? Honestly, just preference. You're gonna see me later go through and put the dark color on those pieces, but I don't want them to be super dark, so I'm leaving them out right now. If I foiled those and left the other piece and then did a slice, what would happen is that back piece would end up inside of my slice, and I wouldn't have that piece that I could paint darker. So I like to have that little bit of depth to tie it into what's in the back, kind of incorporated into my money piece. You don't have to do that. You can foil it however you want. Um, but you'll see what I'm talking about when I get there. That's the last thing I typically do. But there is a reason for it. Thank you for asking. And again, it's so that it doesn't end up incorporated in my slice. So you have to be careful of that because if you do that weave and you pull down the piece in front of the face and that's what you're doing, and then you take a slice right behind it and that other stuff goes in the slice, the whole front hairline is also a slice, right? So the weave disappears. You just wasted time. And then it's really bold when she puts her hair back. And if that's what she wants, yay. But if not, whoops. That's what root shadow is for. Okay. So again, weave. The hairline on this mannequin is more hair than I have on my whole head. So I'm just taking it super thin. But this is the part that I think she's talking about. So right here, I'm pulling that hair down and I'm leaving it out. If I foiled this and then pulled this back and I did my slice, this would end up in the slice and it would end up all blonde, which hers kind of is already, which is again why I'm going to go in and paint those other pieces after. Thank you for the question. Was it Dawn? Is that what you said her
It
name was?
was.
Thanks, Dawn. It was a fabulous question. Okay. So in the front, not just one slice, but two. So, don't take them too thick that you can't do it. Another thing that's really kind of important and something that I learned later in my career, probably like 7 years in, unfortunately, is that the thinner your slice, the more lift you're going to get. So if you're trying to get as much lift as humanly possible on that section and you take a thick slice, it's going to end up more in that orangey zone. Whereas same exact starting level, same hair condition. If you took a really thin one and it was well saturated, you're going to end up more in the yellow area, um, which is a lot easier to deal with when you're working correctively. Or if you're trying to lift virgin hair to white, thin slice, do back to backs if you're trying to get a thicker vibe for it, and you will have a lot of success. Also, if they're level one and they want that, that's when I bust out my dual lightning system too, and I mix my powder lightener from Behave with my 180, and I get as much lift as humanly possible. what's great about that is it takes, a 3 appointment corrective color and turns it into sometimes a, 1 5-hour appointment, sometimes four. Or at minimum, it cuts at least one whole appointment out. And teasy light. This hair is ratchet, so it's teasing real well. Of course, if she was alive, I would say processed and not ratchet in front of her face, right? I mean, with me, it honestly would depend on the person. I might say ratchet, but if it's a stranger, I don't want to say that. So if you notice, I just had some capsules burst. See that really blue area? I'm going to really work that so that I don't end up with little spots of blue on the hair. But that's what the whole bowl looked like. The whole bowl was that color until I really started mixing it and working it. So as the pigment sits, as the lightener sits, it definitely eats away some of the pigment. And the light blonde, the one I'm using, is not heavily pigmented to begin with. I'm just going to paint that tease. Don't forget to lift up your foil if you're painting the tease. Okay, now comes the fun part, sectioning and the weaving for our braid, our braided balayage moment. Okay, so I've got that root color on the whole head. I'm going to take the whole back section as one section, and then the two front sides as if they were quads still. So where's the front of her face? I'm gonna clean that up so it's divided in half in the front. I'm gonna wipe my comb on myself like a baby toddler. That's what aprons are for. And then you wash it. And I'm gonna just section the front out from the back. Back into those quad sections. So the two front sections are pretty small because they've got all that money piece happening. So top of the head to the back of the ear, like we normally would. And I'm not going to worry about those right now. What I am going to do is I'm going to pop a clip with this that I'm using a claw or not a claw, a crocodile clip. And I'm putting the pinchy part, the handles, facing up. I feel like it's not a handle because you're not handling it, but I guess that's what I'm going to call it. So again, that's the part that's going to go up, and there's a reason why we're going to utilize it to our advantage. You're going to get out of my way, money piece foil, because I need the hair. Okay. And that's just going to sit there. So I'm going to take that whole back section together. I'm not combing the color. So you don't want to get up towards the scalp where the color is, because that's going to make it messy. And we don't want messy. But I'm going to take that whole back section and I'm going to take probably a good inch. Like we're taking big sections, we're moving fast. This is a quick technique. And I'm going to clip the hair up, but I'm not putting the clip in the color because then I'll create lines of dark color on the hair. And that sucks. Been there, done that. Don't want to do it again. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to do big weave. Right? The bottom part of my weave I'm pulling down. That's going to be my low light. And then I'm going to split the top piece and I'm going to just move that hair over those clips. So out of my way over those clips. If the hair's not long enough to do that, you can finagle another clip in there so that you can without it falling. Taking another chunk. And we're going to weave again. And you want like a pretty big deep weave because you want hair from the top and the bottom going in both directions. If you want this to be a primarily darker technique, you're going to leave more hair in the bottom section that you're pulling down. If you want it to be lighter, you're going to do more weaving and put more aside. All right, so I'm going to take that and I'm going to just place that over the sides. And again, the stuff going down is going to be my low light. So I'm just separating it for now. And I'm moving a little slower than I normally would so that I can show you and that you can kind of get an idea for it. But normally I wouldn't be talking this much and I would be moving much faster. So I would be done the back already. Right? Separate, plop it on those sides of the clips. Stuff coming down is my low light. Stuff going up and out, it's going to be my highlight. That's also the reason why we painted the roots first, is so that she's got that base color everywhere. Divide that in half, work it to the sides. Now I'm on the top section. My cats are playing with trash. You buy them $40 cat toys, they don't use them. You drop a straw, they go bananas. Okay, so here's where the braid comes in. That whole side that I pulled away, right? That's going to be my lighter piece. I'm literally going to just take that and braid it to keep it separated. Doesn't have to be a beautiful braid. Doesn't have to be a good braid. Just needs to be a braid to keep it out of your way. Now, if they have a ton of hair, you would do something a little, I mean, this is what you're going to do. I'm getting ahead of myself. Ignore me. So braid that. Now I'm going to take the other side that I pulled out. Same thing. So the lighter piece is my highlight section. I'm going to just take all that hair that I pulled aside and braid it to keep it out of my way. You want to pull the braid tight enough that um, it's pulled beyond the dark hair that you're leaving and that, the depth that you painted. So like it's pulled far enough that this isn't interfering. Like my pieces that are going to be dark, I can see where that darkness is on the base so I don't have any holidays. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the front. So I'm going to section the front too. Um, with the front, I got all these foils here. So I'm just going to weave and take the whole weave and pull it back because it's a skinny little section. If she's got a big old melon head and you have to pull it forward and pull it back, do it. Do what you got to do and do another little baby braid in the front. She doesn't have enough hair to that. To do that, I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to weave it. I'm going to get the knots out first. I want the hair towards the front to still have some lightness. So I'm intentionally taking that as part of my weave to pull over. And then, on that braid, I can pop in a clip just to hold it out of my way. Step in that. Hair towards the front. Boop. This whole side of the head is now sectioned. That's a lot of blonde on the top. So I'm just going to take that and do it again. All right, so this is what's going to be dark. The stuff I pulled back is what's going to be light. So I'm just going to braid that now so that I keep it out of my way. And then I just consolidate it and put it in the same clip as the hair from the back. Right, so I've got, oh my Lanta. I've got my two braids clipped together, my hair for the darker, pulled forward, now moving on to the back. So like once you get those money pieces in, it's time to haul ass. And then again with my line, I did a 5 and I painted the root first, but I did it intentionally that way because I want the root to be a 4. So I don't have to mix two formulas. I can put that on there and let it sit for a little bit extra time and get a darker color out of it, which is marvelous. So one bowl of color, two purposes. And I'm gonna weave it. This is gonna look so good. Her hair is all kinds of weird colors. And you want to vary your sections. So like how much is staying light, how much is staying dark. You don't want it to be the same weave everywhere because then it's not gonna be kind of brick laid. So this one, I just want a little more dark to it because I went really heavy with the light on the other one underneath it. So you just want to be conscious of that. And then again, on the other side, I made sure it wasn't going to be super duper light. So on this side, I want to make sure that too, because you don't want them to be complete and total opposites. All right. No, no, I just pulled my, but there we go. Okay, so this is my dark hair. This is my light hair. I'm just gonna braid this back. Again, it doesn't have to be a pretty braid. It's staying in there for 5 seconds. And then I just clip it in, that same clip. And now I'm gonna come back to the back. Can you guys see her? Is she high enough? She is now.
Perfect.
Fabulous. Okay, so I've got my sections pulled aside and I'm just going to throw my low light color in. So I'm just going to pick this color up. And now this, if I want to clip right to the scalp, I can because I'm putting a dark color on there. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to come through and make sure I saturate from where that previous color was right down. Boom. Having a towel handy to wipe your hands on is also great for this part because, you know, we're going to have to handle the other hair in a minute. But again, I'm just saturating, making sure from where that previous painted dark depth is. And then I'm not fully saturating the ends. And doing that and slightly just squeegeeing some color off is going to leave the ends a tiny bit lighter too. So I'm going to add a little bit of an ombre effect just by not fully saturating the ends as well, which is fun. So I'm going to work that through because you want good saturation on all those pieces. And the whole back is painted dark now. So all my lowlights for the back are in already. How freaking fast is that? Did I grab myself a towel? I didn't. I have one now. And of course, it's red and not black. Okay, that side's done. Coming to the front. And I'm going to paint my dark hairs in the front. Pull that out of my way. This. Saturate towards the root. And again, just kind of skim over the ends if you want them to be lighter. If you want them to be opaque, saturate them. Low lights on this side, done. Turner, like Tina Turner, get it. Um, sorry, I'm stupid sometimes. Okay. Saturate. And depending on your color, it depends on how well your color spreads. You might have to take a thinner section. This color spreads like butter. It's very easy to saturate, so I can take like a decent sized section and not have to worry too much. If it's really dense, you just kind of want to work it through. My low lights are done on her head. That took 4 minutes. Fantastic, right? Now we're going to do our foils with our lighter color or our lightener. Any questions?
No questions.
Fabulous. Just going to stir this up again. All right. So now I'm going to undo my braids. Oh, Tony Braxton for it. And I'm going to take a section and we're going to tease and then paint. Just slap a foil up there because I'm laying the hair that I'm making lighter on it, and I don't want the dark color from the roots to get all over everything I'm doing. So I'm saving time by just slapping a foil there. I'm going to take that whole little section I just pulled out, ease some of the hair out of the way, put my foil underneath, and paint. If you want to paint a V, you can. If you want to leave some depth in the middle, you can, like a balayage or a flanellage or whatever you want to do. Or you can come all the way up to the teased hair, but again, you want to try and not hit the teased hair because then you get spots. And then I'm going to flat foil. So I'm just going to lay another foil right on top. If you want to fold up the bottom so it doesn't fall, you can. On the chunk. Tease. Right? If the tease stops, take the comb out, put it back in and push, and it will go. You want to kind of tease these so that they're teased enough that you can kind of see through it so you can get saturation. If you're leaving so much hair, you either need to take more sections up the sides of the head because they've got denser hair, or you need to tease more. Up to you which one you do. But you do want to make sure that you can saturate it so that you have your, the lightness that you're looking for. Again, I'm going to flat fold. I like to fold the ends and then corners. All right. This is kind of part of the front, so I'm just going to take it out so I have a little easier time. Take that tease back out. Push it out of my way. How we doing, everybody? If you're still with me, say still with ya in the comments. Let me know if you're alive. And then Jeanette, let me know if they're alive. Okay, flat foil. moving up the head. All right, I'm not that tall, so she's coming down. Back it away. Back it away, back it away, back it away now. Oh my God, I'm demented. Feather it. You don't want any hard lines. I like to paint towards the top. I like lightness towards the top still, but it depends on, again, your goal. So you could start painting way lower if you wanted to.
Dawn is Dawn is on a cruise eating dinner while she watches this.
Dawn, you're a rock star. That's amazing. I hope dinner's good. Is it a buffet? Are you in, like, tell me more. Tell me more about what you're eating. I love food, so
She says pork loin.
I hope
Delicious.
it's wonderful and tender. It's like the only pork thing I actually enjoy eating. Getting towards the face. All my foils are done for that side of the head. So all my blonding on this entire back and front side is done once this foil is folded up. Once I stop messing with the hair. And I just ran out of lightener. Usually I mix enough. Today was not that day. So I have to mix a little bit more. But what's cool about that is you're going to see how insanely bright that light blonde looks at first. Hold for 2 minutes. It won't take me long. I don't need to mix much. Okay. Nettie, have you used the light blonde yet?
Um, that's a good question. I must have already. I know I've used aqua, which I'm using again this week. I've used light brown, which came out stunning. I've used ash blonde. I don't know if
I
I've done
love
the
the
other
light
one.
brown.
Oh,
We
it
going for
was
like a caramel?
gorgeous. Yes, it came
Yeah.
out unbelievable.
So this is the color the light blonde starts. So just a little blue. And then when you mix these, because if you remember me saying a little bit earlier, y'all, it's in capsules, those pigments. So I'm gonna let it sit for like 2 minutes. I'm just gonna slowly turn the head. Gonna move in slow motion. Um, take this braid out. And then once those 2 minutes are up, I'm gonna stir some more before I start applying. And that's just to make sure I don't have any little holidays and fireworks.
We have a new guest named Jackie. She's asking, what is that?
What is the 180 lift and load? Wonderful question, Jackie. Thank you for joining. So 180 lift and load is a product from Behave. I work for Behave. It's one of our color products, and it is a lightener. It's a cream lightener base with pigment in it. So it lifts and either pre-tones, tones or deposits pigment, depending on kind of what you're looking for and how you mix it. I'm not looking for it to deposit this pigment. So I'm using a little bit of a higher developer because I'm looking for lift. Um, and the light blonde is one of the lesser pigmented deposits. So it's really going to just help tone out a little bit of warmth, but it's going to be a really clean blonde. It's not going to be ashy. This isn't an ash pigment, really. The ash blonde is. I love the ash blonde lift and load, especially when you know somebody lifts crazy warm. So basically, it's a cream bleach that has pigment in it, and it's amazing. Um, Pigment's already in it. You don't have to add it. So there's, 9 or 10 different tubes. It's marvelous. It comes in a tube. It's the same size tube as the color tube. So our color tubes are 3.5 ounces. These are 3.5 ounces as well. These are black tubes, and the color is a white tube, so you don't accidentally, mix it if you got shit everywhere. Some of us are messy colorists. All right, so taking my section. This again is going to be my blonde section. Teasing. Want to tease enough out of the way that I can saturate.
And Jackie's wondering where can she find this product because life is becoming easier and she loves it.
Jackie, that's amazing. So not only do I educate for the brand, but I do sales. So if you are interested, you can shoot me a DM and I can send you some information on like the pricing and the packages and things like that. Um, we do have a deal right now. So if you're looking to try, the 180 isn't part of it, but the color is. We have a perfect 10 color pack. So it's 7 shades of color that are pre-chosen for you. Like a 5, a 6, a 7 neutral, 10 1/8 or 10 stroke 1/8, which is a pearl blonde, beautiful for toning. So 7 shades, 5 volume for toning, 20 volume for your gray coverage. You can mix the two together and make a 12 or 13, which would be for your deposit only gray coverage. A full bag of bleach. It's $50 for all of that. It's an incredible thing. If you want to just buy it now, you can go on Behave's website. It's behavehair.us. And there'll be a little search bar. So again, Behave Hair US. There'll be a little search bar, and you're going to search BHBUND. So BH Bund for bundle. When you search that, a bunch of bundles are going to show up. They're all going to be a different price than what you're actually going to pay. If you use the code Joe 2023, so JOE, the number's 2023, that will get you 50% off of the price listed. So it's the perfect 10 color. It's $100. So if you just look for the one that's listed at $100, that will get you that little kit. So if you want to just play with some of our color, it's incredible. It's a hybrid color, one tube, demi-permanent toner, permanent color, great coverage, 10 to 20 minutes for everything. Toning is up to 10 minutes. You can just grab that and order it. Again, the code to get 50% off on it is JOE 2023, the numbers. If you want some more information and you want to talk about it and find out more about the 180 and everything else, just shoot me a DM. Work that through. Again, if I had any big spots of blue that plopped into this, some capsules that just burst or anything, you just want to work it so that you don't have any little, I call them fireworks of pigment. If you continue to stir throughout when you're using this product, you won't have any problems. You'd never want to stir with the brush you're applying with because that will give you problems. So I have a whisk, and I'm just gonna stir it up some more. Any of those pigment capsules that are in there are gonna just work their way right in, and I'm good to go. Another section. Oops, I did it again. I took too much hair, and I'm singing Britney Spears. So Also, if you're just joining us, we're also going to be doing a giveaway. So look out for a giveaway post in the forum. Um, because we are going to be doing a giveaway of some of our products. And the entry will be a photo of a balayage, or we're going to have some time. So if you want to get a braided balayage done and post a picture of your braided balayage that you did after learning from this class, that would be so cool. I would love to see that. Um, and then we will be announcing later. So I want to say we're going to put it up, and I think we're going to run it until the 20th and announce on the 22nd, something like that. So then you get to play with some of the product too, and our retail line. So it's not just going to be color product. We're going to give away some retail. Flat foil. Fold in my corners. Take that front down and tease it out of my way. Not like it's the 80s. I want to be able to brush this tease out after. And then I'm just gonna, once I'm done applying this section, and again, she's already got highlights, so I don't need to let it process longer. I'm not trying to get these crazy blonde, and I'm putting a low light in that's gonna be pretty dark. So I'm kind of working that depth to make the blonde look lighter and pop more. So I'm just gonna fold this one up. See, there's a little more lightener in here, so we might as well just get it in that foil. I don't like to waste. I see some dots, so I'm just going to work those in. Fold this. So now, if you were here from the beginning, when I did my money piece sections, and this will be up for replay. So if you're just joining and you're like, what the hell did he do? You can watch the beginning. Um, when I did my weaves for the front, I left those down, right? So I pulled the front facing part of that weave down onto the face and then foiled the piece behind for my blonde. Now what I'm gonna do, you need to stay back where I'm putting you, you bitch. Now I'm gonna just throw a foil in with a low light color. And the reason I didn't put the darker color on beforehand is because of how long it would be sitting. I don't want this to be the darkest piece of crown on her whole head. I want it to be a little lighter than the rest, but just add some contrast. Hi, you okay over there, Artemis? I don't know if you can hear her or what the mic is picking up, but my cat is making all kinds of weird sounds. 'Cause 'cause she's crazy. She has this little green ball that she loves, and she carries around in her mouth and just goes. So that's probably what she's doing. So I'm just foiling in that dark color again in those front pieces for my weave. So I weaved the hair, left that part down. Now I'm putting my darker tone, which is, if you're just joining us, my Behave 360 color. I made a demi-permanent deposit only. So I mixed it like I would mix our toner with 5 volume, double 5 volume. And I mixed 5-stroke 7-3. So level 5. And then a 7-3 is a warm golden brunette. So 7 is brunette. Our brunettes are warm based. And then we also have cool brunettes. And then the 3 is gold. So it's a brunette gold.
We have a new guest named Mara, and she says hi.
Hello. Thank you for joining. I'm just about finished applying everything. This will be up for replay, so you will be able to watch the beginning and see what I put in. But if you want to hang out a little bit, this is just going to process for, say, 8 minutes. Um, and then I'm gonna wash it out and style her. So if you want to see the end result, you can hang out and see the end result. And I'm not gonna tone her. That's why I use the 180 as well. That lift and load that has pigment in it from Behave. I used that because it's a lightener with pigment, so it's gonna pre-tone. So I might have some warmth left in the hair. I'm not anti-warmth, unless she is. And she didn't say she was. She wasn't like, I want it as ashy as possible. I hate warmth. I don't want to see any gold. It's red. My hair is red. It's barely anything, right? It's red. My hair is red. I'm like, you're demented. Um, your hair's not red. It's brown or gold. They see any yellow at all. My hair's red. Or they're blonde, right? Silver. Could be silver. Could be blue. I see yellow. I don't know. Is it yellow? Do you see yellow? I feel like my hair's yellow. I went home and my roommate said that my hair was yellow. Or they leave the salon and they love their color, and then their boyfriend's like, oh, like it. And then they
Tracy
call you
says
and they're
it's
like,
all red, all of it.
yeah, everything's red. Everything's red or it's yellow. And then boyfriends are the worst. I don't like that color. What'd you do? Why'd you just change your hair? And then they call you and you're like, actually, I hate it. This is the one I wanted at all. And I'm like, who told you they didn't like it, girl? Your best friend, your mom, your boyfriend, your controlling boyfriend who thinks that you should only have blonde hair always. My boyfriend really likes my hair long, so I never cut it. I have no hair. I also have no boyfriend. Okay, so all in, right? Money pieces, foil to the nines. All that lighter color is foiled up the sides. And again, I incorporated the back and the front when I did those. So like each side is just one slew up each side. This is going to process for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, and it's going to be done. So I'm going to be done by 9:30, which is incredible. Um, Especially considering I didn't start on time because I was having technical difficulties. So I started a few minutes late. So this technique for a full head balayage look, money pieces, the whole 9 yards is going to be 2 hours start to finish. If you're going to do a trim, obviously you're going to have to add a little time for that. She's not getting a trim. So it's a really quick technique. I said at the beginning, it usually takes me 3 to 4 hours for a full head, like standard balayage. Uh, this cuts that in half, which is incredible. And I'm doing my lows, my highs, everything all at once.
All right, we have Mara asking, are you going to save the live?
I am going to save the live. I am indeed. So it should save right in the group. So you should be able to come back to it. And then I'm also going to save it remotely on my computer. And I think that Dan or Ben, I'm so terrible with names. Ben, who runs this group, is also going to post it on the YouTube. So it's going to be saved. It's going to be going up in a couple places. So you will be able to see the whole technique if you're just tuning in now and you're like, well, what is all that foil on that head? I missed everything. Um, you won't have missed it all. You will see some or all of it if you'd like.
Tracy asked, what did you use in the foils? And then Mara asked, what did you do? What's your goal?
So I'm going to start with what I did and what my goal is, and then talk about what's in the foils because it kind of flows in that um, direction. So, what I did and what my goal is, this is a braided balayage. So, we didn't paint any braids, but we used braids to section. So, when you watch, you're going to see a much different application technique, but this incorporates basically a root shadow, a highlight, and a low light all at once. like all at once. So you're doing everything at one time. It's not super messy and it's easy to do. So my intention was almost like a reverse balayage on her. So it's more low lighting. She was all over foiled, just kind of medium blonde, warm foils in there. I brightened up the money piece and then I'm adding a lot of depth throughout, as well as maintaining some of the light and bumping it a little bit. What I used in the foils is from Behave. So I work for the brand Behave. And we make a lightener series. It's part of our color line. It's called Lift and Load, or Behave 180 Lift and Load. And it lifts up to 7 levels and then deposits pigment at the same time. So the simultaneously while it's lifting the hair, it's depositing. So essentially it's a cream bleach. It's very, very nice on hair. And it's also depositing pigment. So the pigment I chose to use today is a light blonde. Let me grab my color book and I can show you.
And Jackie says she wishes she lived in the US so she can grab these great products.
Oh, Jackie, what country are you in?
She's from Belize.
Well, thank you for joining from Belize. I don't think we're available there, unfortunately, but maybe we will be someday. Okay, so these are our lift and load shades. We have three more now. We have a red, a copper, and a violet. So the flame is like a red orange. Um, but the light blonde is this one here. So it's not nearly as cool as the ash blonde, right? So I'm not trying to use ash. I'm not trying to make it ashy. I'm just gonna get a really nice, clean blonde tonality out of it. But when you mix it, it looks like toothpaste colored, which is scary at first. And I'm gonna clean up all the color I dropped on the floor with the color brush so I don't stain the floor of my apartment that I rent and do not own. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's time. It's time to wash. So I'm gonna bring y'all with me. Let me unplug my phone. Here we go. Oh, I don't need the mannequin tripod. I do need the trash can. Here, I'm gonna bring the trash can first because here we go. Whee!
Jackie's excited to see the end results.
I am too, Jackie. Okay. All right. How do I? Hmm. Curious. So I have this in this way. I can. Oh, I'm being clever, y'all. Or trying. Ah! Okay. Too clever. Too clever. What can you see? Where's the camera? Camera's over here.
Looks
Can you
good.
see your head?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's the goal. All right, so I'm going to pull the foil out and throw it in the trash can. Release. Let it go. Let it go. Oh, it's because I folded it. What's that do? Okay, take some hair with the foil. No big deal. Let's take our money pieces out.
Marwa, I believe, is asking what the formula was for the root shadow.
So, amazing question, Marla. Thank you for asking. The root shadow color is the same color as the low light color. So it is 5-stroke 7-3, which is a level 5 golden brunette. And then I applied that first, then did my money pieces. And because I let that sit longer on the hair, it's actually going to be a level darker. So it's going to be a level 4, which is what I wanted. So I worked it out so that I could use the same bowl of color and get multiple results out of it. Because I like to work smarter, not harder. And I like to use less product if I can.
And Jackie was wondering, what level did you start at? And Mara was wondering the developer type. What volume for the root shadow?
So for the root shadow, the developer was double 5 volume, which turns ours into a deposit only demi, almost like a toning formula. What was Jackie's question?
What level did she start at?
So what level did she start at? A bunch of different levels, Jackie. She was already highlighted. So she had some really bright blonde in the front. She had the level she started at originally was a level 6. So she was a level 6 with blonde highlights. And now I'm just going to rinse the color out and the lightener. Okay, that's getting hot and melting my hands. Stay. And I'm using our Bombshell Blonde shampoo, but our Bombshell Blonde shampoo is not made for like super toning that day kind of thing. It's not like a psychotically purple shampoo. It does have purple pigment in it, but it's for maintenance. So this shampoo is actually made for daily use or as often as they shampoo, right? Not everybody shampoos every day. But they can use this every time they shampoo and it's not going to turn their hair purple or gray or smoke it out or any of that crap that drives us crazy that people do with a normal purple shampoo. It's also extremely hydrating versus most. So most purple shampoos dry the hair. Ours is actually our most hydrating shampoo base. I'm just going to shampoo twice because I want to make sure I get all the lightener out. And then I did use 180 lift and load. And the lift and loads are an oil-based lightener, right? So that cream base is an oil base. And you want to make sure to get all that oil residue out of the hair. So I'm just shampooing twice. And I'm not beating the hair up because I am shampooing it with the teas still in. And I want to get the teas out. Said though, don't you wish you could just lift your client's head up and rinse the underneath? I know I do. And then the conditioner is a bluish shade. But again, it's not psychotically toning. So this shampoo and conditioner is made for daily use or every shampoo use. Oh, num nums. She got a little on her mouth there. That's fine. She's okay. It smells great. I wouldn't eat it. And I'm going to just grab my amazing detangling brush and get the teas out while the conditioner is in the hair. And the part that I didn't tease is tangled because she's a little over processed in that front. Because if you saw, I might have foiled already blonde hair. But it's not breaking off.
Tracy's wondering if she can rewatch the first part of the replay.
Tracy, you can. Thank you for asking. So you absolutely can watch the beginning of the replay. It should be up once this is done. It should all save and post. This sounds a lot worse than it is. There's no hair in the brush. Um, and this is
Honestly,
my
you
thing.
can't even hear it.
Oh, good. Um, I love this brush. I don't work for Sheila Stotts. I don't make any commission off of selling her brush, but I love this thing. So Sheila Stott is the website. It's her ultimate detangler, I think is what it's called. But it detangles like nobody's business and it doesn't damage hair at all. Like I used to love wet brushes until I got this, and then I was like, who's wet brush? Wet brush who?
Tracy's also wondering what lightener did you use or are you using?
So wonderful question. I used a lightener from Behave called 180 Lift and Load. It is a cream bleach that has pigment in it. So I lifted and toned at the same time. And that's what I used to lighten the hair. I could have used our powder lightener. It's beautiful as well, but I wanted to tone it at the same time or pre-tone. Um, because I mixed it so with a higher developer, so that higher developer ate through more of the pigment. But it's gonna pre-tone the hair beautifully. Again, the most tangled part is the front foils that weren't even teased. She was already blonde there. This is less fun to watch. Sorry, y'all. Get out. There we go. And again, just take the client's head right off and beat the hell out of them right in the bowl. Wouldn't that be nice? She she can think out, but she can't say it because there's no lungs. Through, getting all that tease out. And if you notice,
Tracy's Tracy's wondering where she can find out more about information on the lightener.
so Tracy, you can DM me. I work for that brand. I work for Behave. So if you want to learn more about the lightener and the lift and loads, you can shoot me a DM and I can tell you all about it and also set up a purchase if you'd like to try it, as long as you are in the US, because I sell in the US. Almost done. And then I did this as a kind of reverse balayage, right? Like I started, she was highlighted, I lightened some, I added depth to the rest. You can do this as a virgin technique, right? Or so she doesn't have to have previously lightened hair. You would obviously let your lightener process longer because you're lightening from ground zero, but it doesn't have to be a reverse balayage. This can be your whole balayage technique. And if you want more brightness, you would when you're doing the technique. So if you're just watching now and you didn't get to see the application, when you see how I apply, you would pull more out for the blonde. Okay. All right, let's see. Here we go. Can you see me?
Yep.
Fabulous. So I'm gonna put some Supernova in her hair, which is our detangler. It is marvelous. Now, did you sell it to some of your guy clients, right?
Oh my God, and they're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
And
So
because they have such less hair, it lasts them even twice as long, and it already lasts quite a long time.
yes, it's very, very concentrated. Lasts quite a while, but like it's not, some people are weird and they think products are for women only. And they're not. So I'm just gonna spray it in my hands, work it through. It's also thermal protectant, UV protectant. It's gonna be in that giveaway. Smells phenomenal.
Tracy's asking, what does it smell like?
Fruity, tropical, but not pineapple. I don't know the actual fragrance, but it's yummy.
Very
Um,
sweet.
yes. Our blow dry cream is coconut, but like natural smelling coconut, not like Bath and Body Works coconut. It's marvel. It smells so good. Brush that through. A little bit of teasing I missed. None of our fragrances are psychotically like heavy or super, super obnoxious. I think the oil might have the strongest fragrance and it's candy, but it doesn't like linger in the hair terribly or anything like that. We're an Australian brand, so things are a little bit more naturally based, um, which I love because it's a little, less offensive to the nose and brain. God, this one chunk just unteased, please. All right, I'm ready to cut it right out at this point. I'm gonna plug in my blow dryer, and I hope it's not too loud. If it is, Nettie, let me know and I will mute myself.
I will. I can't hear that.
Woohoo!
Sweet.
Okay. I'm just gonna rough dryer before I get my round brush in there. And you can really see that money piece section, like how it adds that blonde, but it's not crazy. And then again, she started as an all over highlighted blonde, like, or well, highlighted mannequin, level 6. I applied my root color first to let that sit on extra long so that it would be a level 4. So it would be like a root shadow compared to the mids and ends of what I low lighted. And that's exactly what it did, right? You can see how much depth there is. And then you can see right next to it how it starts to lighten right up. That was fantastic. I just had the concentrator. What did I do? Now you can see her, right?
Mm-hmm. Sure can. Tracy's asking, did you braid the hair?
I did. So the only part I braided, and the braiding was for sectioning. So I did braid the hair, and it was just to keep the hair that I was going to make lighter out of the way. So I braided it for a few minutes, and then the braids came out. That's just pretty. So the name can be a little deceiving of this technique because it sounds like you're going to be painting braids. We painted no braids. No braids were harmed in the making of this video. And then, a true testament of any balayage technique or foliage or ombre or anything like that is, does it look good smooth before it looks good curly, right? So once I have this smoothed out, we're going to take a look,
Wow, that looks so good.
right? So the answer to that is yes, she does look good. She looks good smooth, which is really key. And if you watch the beginning of the video or the beginning of the replay, I show what she started like. So I didn't clip her in pre-section like I typically do, because I do that on a on a mannequin that is all one color. She was not all one color, so I wanted to show what I was starting with in the beginning, so that you got the kind of the history of the hair. So she went from an all over foil, and it was honestly probably like 7 different foil patterns from 7 different foil classes. So not only did this like reverse balayage and bring her darker all over with some bright pop, but it was also kind of corrective. So I did a corrective technique that's super dimensional in 2 hours. I remember when I first started and I heard the word corrective and I was like, okay, I quit. I'm gonna go do something else with my life. I'm just gonna blow dry this side. I'll finish her and post pictures tomorrow. Okay, I might have to finish blow drying that part of the money piece. How does she look, y'all? That's pretty, right? And that's smooth. I'm gonna fix that last piece of my piece and I'm gonna plug my curling iron in and we're just gonna curl a few chunks if you want to stay with me for a minute. If you don't, that's fine too. But I want to see it curly. That's how people typically wear this style, right?
Tracy says it's gorgeous, and I
Mhm.
agree.
Right? I love, love, love this technique. And I love my money piece pattern. I kind of took a pattern that I learned a couple years ago and made it my own and made it thicker, and I love it. I'm obsessed. So, nothing is new in the industry, right? We all kind of take and recycle and learn from one another. So the braided balayage is by no means my technique. Um, I'm just obsessed with it and like teaching it because it's so much faster. Like, who is she? Who's that? Stunning, gorgeous girl, living her best life. Is there color in this clip? There is not.
Tracy's asking, what was the timing on this?
Tracy, I started about 7:40, 7:45, and it is 9:15 here now. So not even 2 hours, right? Because 7:30 to 9 is an hour and a half, right? Am I losing my mind? Nettie?
I am doing math as sorry. I'm trying.
Yes. A half hour makes it 8, and then an hour after that's 9. So not even 2 hours. It hasn't even been 2 hours.
An hour and 15 minutes? No,
Yeah,
a little bit more than that.
a
But yeah,
tiny
no,
bit.
about an hour and a half, an hour and 35 minutes.
Just pop these curls in. Make them nice and tight so that I can brush through them. But I mean, that's insane to me. That amount of time for a look like this. If somebody showed me this picture and I didn't know about a braided balayage, I'd be like, okay, 4 hours. I'm gonna hand paint some pieces and then foil some dark things in. I think like I wouldn't know how to add the darkness and the like light balayage in a fast way. Or I do all over foils and highlights and lowlights, and it wouldn't look anything like this. I'd be like, that's photoshopped.
Tracy's asking, what is the max time for the 180s?
50 minutes typically, like a traditional lightener. So you don't want to leave it on really a lot longer than 50 minutes. Um, if you start with a low developer, it can sit longer and it's not going to be as aggressive, but 50 minutes, 50. The longer it sits, the less tone you're going to have left.
And that's with no heat, correct?
Correct. No heat, never heat. You need it to lift more, higher volume. So I don't know if you know this, y'all. I like the science of hair a lot. 1 minute under heat is the equivalent to 8 minutes at room temperature. The activity you generate with that heat is the equivalent to that hair sitting at room temperature for 8 minutes. So 5 minutes under heat is 40 minutes at room temperature. Yeah, that is my reaction,
Oh my
right? Because
gosh.
how long do people put people under heat for? And then they're like, oh, my hair is so dry. It's breaking off. And I'm like, no shit. It was on there for 3 days. Like they put you under the dryer for an hour. That's the equivalent to days. Not literally, but it's when I learned that from a chemist friend of mine, I was like, oh my God, I'm never putting heat on it again. So I might just 2 minutes if I've ever done it since I learned that. But none of ours need heat. Nothing requires heat in our line. And see those dark that
Oh, I love
pieces?
that so much.
That's why I added that foil in last. But it's not as dark as the root, right? And that's because it didn't sit for longer than 10 minutes over the processing time or more.
Tracy is asking, how does that compare to the heat lamp?
Hey, heat lamp's the same, just a different source of heat. So like super low heat might be a little less aggressive, but rule of thumb, it's heat is heat. Moist heat, dry heat, heat lamps. Infrared lamps are heating the inside of the hair too. Um, so it really depends. And it depends on the products you're using. Some products are you're allowed to use heat with. We don't recommend it. And you don't really need it, honestly. There's so many options and ways to make it lift faster or lift more. How's she looking, y'all?
Look how shiny it is.
Look how shiny. That's the color. Even the 180 adds shine because all I did was put some detangler in it, right? And I mean, it adds shine. That product is amazing, but like
Jackie is
behave.
wondering what you did for the money piece, or what did you use?
So I used the same thing. I used that 180 lift and load, the light blonde for my money piece. So it's all the same lightener. I used two different bowls on her whole head, the lightener and then the darker color. And then the foil pattern you can catch in the beginning of the video, but it's basically, or it is, it's not basically. I divide at the recession point in front of the ear. It's weave, slice, teasy light. On the top, it's weave, slice, slice, teasy light. And that's how you get that thick band. Like it's a pretty thick ribbon when you even when you pull it to the side. All right, go back to where you came from. Um, but because of that teasy light, it's not a harsh line. Hey, so if you want to learn more about anything I used tonight, shoot me a DM. I mean, absolutely watch from the beginning when this posts, when the replay posts. She does look really good. I'm not gonna lie. I can see it's a tiny little window on my phone. Let's see. Can I make it bigger? I want to see it. Show me. Nope, I can't. So I can't even see it big, but I'm looking at it in person. I'm so stupid. It looks beautiful. I'm like, why can't I see it on my phone? Um, my eyes are right here, but it looks really, really beautiful. It took 2 hours to do. I'm gonna, finish drying her and curl the other side, and then I'll post some pics. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Let me know if you have any questions. If you're watching this replay, if you have questions, reach out. And then if you want to learn more about Behave, shoot me a DM and I'm more than happy to go over it with you. And then within the next couple days, if you reach out, we can set it up. We've got a lot of options for like discounts between 25 and 50% off. So there's a lot that we can do. And sign up for the giveaway. So when you see that giveaway post, please post some pictures of your work, balayage. It's going to be up for enough time that you can do a braided balayage and post it. I would love that. I want to see your braided balayages. Um, if you want it to be as fast as this, you got to do the same pattern. If you modify it and you don't do the tees or you take little tiny highlights, it's going to take you longer. But otherwise, Like it's gonna be fast. Thank you so much for joining. I'm gonna show you the pretty side of her head again because I'm brushing the ugly side that needs
And
to be styled. But like
then we
just
are Tracy's wondering what the name of that brush is again. And then the other Tracy is asking before and after or during too.
okay, so I don't have any during pictures, but the before is in the beginning of the video. I pick her up and I show you, so I can just screenshot that when I watch the video and post it. During I can screenshot and post, and then here's the after. But she started out highlighted, so her whole head was foiled, and she was level 6 with blonde highlights. And now she's got these killer money pieces. When she pulls her hair back, like beautiful. Look how pretty that is. All right.
And then
Thanks, everyone.
just two more questions if we can.
Yeah,
Um,
we can. I can answer
one
questions all
one
day.
Tracy is asking what the name of your brush is again.
Oh, right. So the brush, Sheila Stotts. So S-H, I think E-I-L-A, might be I-E, and then S-T-O-T-T-S. It's on her website. You can purchase it. Madonna has one. Fun fact. I saw it in one of her TikToks and I was like, oh, that brush. Um, but it's my favorite detangler I've ever used. And it's great for brushing curls, as you can see too.
And then our other Tracy is wondering for the giveaway. So are we posting before and afters and durings also for the giveaway?
Oh, she's so cute. I thought you were asking me to post that, Tracy. I'm sorry. Um, for the giveaway, it's just an after. You can post befores too if you can. Like if you took it. If these are pictures you've already taken and they're not of the braided balayage, do your thing. If it's you're gonna do a braided balayage, or even if you have a balayage coming up, a before and after would be fabulous. You can pick stitch them, or if you have Instagram, layout is free. I like using layout because there's no ads. Pick stitch, the ads are so annoying. But thank you for asking. The post should be up soon. I think Ben is going to pin it, which will be cool. And it's going to have a picture of the Behave retail products. But I'm going to give away those. So I'm going to give away our top 10 retail products. So it's our shampoo, our top shampoo and conditioner, and then 8 styling products. And then I'm also going to give away some color. So please enter because it's going to be awesome. As long as you're in the US. We don't ship to Canada currently. And then I only have authority in the United States. So if you're in another country that we carry it, but I can't ship it to you, I don't know how I would set that up. I could try, but if you're in the continental US or even just the United States, that makes it easier.